Pre-trial counselling for survivors of sexual abuse is surrounded by myths and misconceptions which create confusion and place harmful barriers in the way of getting professional support when it is needed.
I was told I couldn't have counselling, as a counsellor might influence what I say.
It's a common myth that counselling provided to sexual abuse survivors before a court case may interfere with their testimony or make them more susceptible to suggestion. However, research and legal guidelines show that pre-trial counselling does not negatively impact the victim's ability to testify. The Crown Prosecution Service recognises that counselling is essential for the survivor's well-being. Also, counsellors are trained to ensure that counselling does not influence the survivor's ability to recall events or provide accurate testimony.
I had no date for my court case, and my independent sexual violence advisor said it could be years. I really needed help right away.
There is a misconception that survivors must wait until after a court case to receive counselling. The CPS strongly advocate in their 2022 guidelines that survivors should be able to access counselling immediately if they choose. Guidelines such as those from the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence and the Royal College of Psychiatrists acknowledge the importance of therapy before, during and after the criminal justice system. Delaying can extend and worsen a survivor's trauma and lead to long-term mental health challenges.
My family said I shouldn't see a counsellor in case it looked like they'd told me what to say in court.
Counselling is not about shaping the survivor's narrative or guiding them to tell a particular story. It's focused on emotional healing, building resilience, and helping survivors manage the psychological effects of trauma. Professionally qualified counsellors use evidence-based practices to help survivors process their experiences and cope with the emotional aftermath without influencing the factual details of their testimony.
I was a mess. I couldn't sleep. I jumped every time I heard a noise. I couldn't eat. I was really worried about how I was reacting and feeling, plus having to deal with the police and the investigation.
It's a common misconception that counselling is unnecessary before the trial because survivors can simply wait until after the legal process. However, research consistently shows that waiting for therapy can worsen symptoms of PTSD, anxiety and depression. Victims may face a prolonged period of psychological distress as they await trial, and pre-trial counselling provides vital support to help them manage this trauma.
I wanted help, but I didn't know what that should look like. My counsellor talked me through all the options, and we decided together what might benefit me.
She was so flexible and offered online sessions when my anxiety stopped me from leaving the house. We laughed a lot, and she was always checking in on how I was feeling and how things were impacting me. It felt personal and caring rather than a tick box exercise.
Some people believe that counselling for survivors is the same regardless of their individual needs or experiences. Our pre-trial counselling at Staffordshire Survive is tailored to each survivor's unique situation. A variety of therapeutic approaches may be used, whether that is using specifically designed creative techniques, modalities suited to trauma, or models based on research that are proven to help with survivors. The goal is to meet the individual and intersectional needs of the survivor, which varies depending on factors such as age, culture, personal circumstances, and the type of trauma.
I was really scared that whatever I talked about in counselling would end up in the courtroom, and the perpetrator would hear how I felt about everything and how I was coping.
It's really concerning for survivors to think that information from their counselling sessions can be shared in court and they have no control over who hears what. At Staffordshire Survive, we clearly explain to all survivors prior to counselling what to expect regarding their information. We are dedicated to ensuring the confidentiality of each and every survivor. We're happy for survivors to see all notes or have a part in writing them with their counsellor. If notes are requested, we will still ask the survivor for consent. Only a judge or a coroner can force us to share their notes, which will always be brief and factual.